This is Twit.
This is something you predicted. You were talking about, I think, Mary Jo, for some time, a Surface event in the fall, and now it's official.
Yep.
Tell us about
October 2nd.
Yes.
It's a Wednesday.
Oh, you know what that means?
Yep. You got to talk about that.
So we don't know the time of it yet. All we know is we get the save the date. It says 10/02/19. It says New York, New York, Microsoft event. There's a weird little stylized Windows logo thing on a black background. And that's
Which,
all
by
we
the
got.
way, we need to over-discuss in a few seconds.
We do. Right.
But it doesn't say Surface per se.
It does not.
No, and I will compliment Mary Jo now. I complimented Brad on this earlier. You were the two only people that wrote a headline about this event that got it correct, which is it is a Microsoft event. Everyone else reported it as a Surface event.
Because
I said a hardware event.
We'd been expecting a Surface event, right? So people just
You didn't say
slotted
Surface.
it into their existing
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Yeah. I mean, Paul is the one who I think months ago said to me, there's an October event, right? Because somebody told you.
Oh, I found out about it.
Yeah. So you knew that like months ago, but we just didn't know when.
Well, now
and
we know
so,
the
what's
exact
funny?
date. Yeah.
It's the exact same day as last year's Surface event.
Yep. I think this year I'm going to bring an HP laptop so Panos doesn't steal it off
he
my
took
lap.
it from you last time.
Yeah.
Literally mid-sentence typing.
Wow.
Yep.
So shall we play a game? Shall we look at this logo?
Yes, let's play a game.
And discuss. Let me pull it up so people.
Yeah,
who
bring
are
up this image
watching-
because this has been an object of much discussion online,
It has.
as it would be. I'm sure as it was intended to be.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And to be clear, it's the most likely scenario is it's nothing. It's just the Microsoft logo, early frame of an animation in which it gets drawn in. Right? It's not a swastika, guys. Obviously.
It looks like the Apple fan key.
Yep. It looks like a four-leaf clover.
It does.
It looks like the Conway's Game of Life. Oh, I know what it looks like. Tron.
Right. Oh, right. Brad said
Light
snake.
cycles.
Yep.
Snake. Maybe they're doing a deal with Nokia.
I hope so.
no.
The last one worked out
It
great.
worked out so well. That is
No,
interesting.
you know what I thought? I thought it looked like surfaces laid flat, and that's the hinge that you see in the middle.
See, the thing about all of this Kremlinology is Apple really took this to a new level. And I think Microsoft probably looking over it, all the attention
Did you
Apple
call it
gets.
Kremlinology?
Yeah, Kremlinology. You know,
No, that's good. That's
on the
good
May
word.
Day parade when the analysts would look at, well, who's standing in the, up there on the Kremlin wall,
That's exactly what this is. Yeah.
and who is in front and who is in back, and
And just like with the Kremlin, there's actually one dead guy in there controlling him with like sticks and wire.
is that Joseph Stalin?
Yeah, exactly. He looks a little pale.
Because so this is I'm gonna go with this is this is conscious on the part of Microsoft to get us all
it's very
talking about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
It is.
So let's do it. So when I see this, first of all, it's a Microsoft logo, obviously, right? The four squares. If you look at the logo on a Surface device today, the squares of the logo are the part that's filled in, and the rest of it is like white space. And so here's the far-fetchedest of my ideas about this. What if this is for Light OS? It's the light version of the logo. Right?
Right.
It's not the full opaque thing. It's like a light version.
Light cycle version.
Yeah, the light cycle version. That's an idea.
So,
but like I said, more it's probably just the beginning of an animation and it fills in and becomes the full logo.
It looks
I think,
honestly, it looks like a mistake. It doesn't look quite right.
Well, yeah, because they're all at different
yeah.
points. Yeah.
Right. At
Wait,
first,
are
you're
they all
trying
the
to
same length?
overlay it, right? Like, what if I folded it this way or this way, right?
Oh my God! Michael Gillette's doing that right now somewhere.
He is.
He's folding it like
There
an origami
is something
thing.
subtly wrong with it that's disturbing, and I can't quite like a minor key or something. I can't quite.
Yeah, you're right.
You're a designer, Paul. Is there something in there that bugs you?
The thing that sticks, that the one in the top left is significantly shorter than all of the other ones. Like in each of the other three squares, there's probably a long combination of lines. But in that one, there's a short. It's very short.
Well, the shortest are
There's something
these.
missing there. There is not a second side to it. I don't know what that means. It might mean nothing. It probably almost certainly means nothing.
Right.
Could it be the intersection where this event's going to be? It almost could be a map.
That'd be amazing. Oh boy, that would be disappointing. And yes, it could. Those are the one-way streets in Manhattan that you have to navigate.
I mean, clearly what's going to happen is you're going to go to the event, and on the screen you're going to see this, and it's going to, as you said,
turn into something,
animate into something like the new.
And it's either going to be really disappointing, meaning it's just the Microsoft logo, or it's going to be like, oh, look at that.
I can
look at the middle. Look at the middle of the top. It's a hinge, right?
The middle of the top.
Like where the two lines are parallel in the top part of this logo.
This is a hinge?
It looks like a hinge to me. Like if you were folding the top horizontally across, that's the hinge.
What if this is nothing more than the new logo that will be on the devices will actually light up, but only in the outline?
Yep, right? That would be cool.
Yeah.
That actually would be cool.
You know that Chris Capicella is listening to this and giggling.
He is.
Oh,
he's laughing.
Yeah, chortling, I think is the right word.
Yeah.
The evil Bond villain laugh.
So, sorry, Chris.
$1 million.
So I'm gonna say this. I'm pretty sure I'm right. They are going to unveil a new Surface logo, which will probably be a new Windows logo as well, maybe even a new Microsoft logo. And that's what this is the beginning of. Not the full version, obviously, because that would be weird.
There's never been a Surface logo, right? They've always used the word Surface. For some time period, they had the Windows logo, I believe, on some Surface devices. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
But look what's on the back of the Surface Go. It's 4 squares.
That's Microsoft.
That is a Microsoft.
So I'm saying this is maybe a chance to unveil a new...
Yeah, but the whole point of the Microsoft logo was Microsoft's the brand that matters here, not Surface. Right, that would be a big reversal.
Right.
So maybe it's a new Microsoft logo.
I think,
or maybe
it's on stores. It would be such a horrible thing to change.
I mean, this is the same as that, except that it's incomplete.
Okay, guys, wait. What if? So I didn't think they would unveil Windows Lite at this event, but if they are going to, and they give us the real new name, which is not going to be Windows, what if this is the logo of the thing that is not Windows?
I think you're right. Bingo.
Actually, okay. By the way, one more thing to throw out there, real quick, and I think both of you will remember this. This very closely resembles the old Office logo, which was 4 outlines. Now, I think the smaller two the bottom two were smaller. I don't think they were all the same size, but because it's an outline, it sort of resembles that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a Microsoft 365. Does Microsoft 365 have a logo beyond just the Microsoft logo?
No.
I mean, that would make a little bit of sense.
That would be interesting. Right. If this is a Microsoft 365 branded
So it has
device.
elements of Microsoft plus Office because it comes from Office 365.
Yep.
Literally, there are people laughing out loud in Redmond right now.
There are.
Because honestly, the 90% chance of this is it means nothing.
I know.
It's just the Microsoft logo, nothing more.
Plus, I have to admit, I am doubtful they're going to unveil Windows Lite and or the Courier-like Centaurus device at this event. And the reason I am doubtful is, can I just say why?
Yes, please.
Because I think it's not till next year. I think 2020 is the year for that. And if you're Microsoft, you don't want to tip your hand that early.
I agree with you. I agree it's not ready. But why might they do this? Because all of a sudden, that's what all of these consumer electronics companies are doing. They're talking about this stuff for the future. Folding screens. Lenovo talked about a folding screen device running Windows 10 that will be coming sometime later. We're going to see at IFA before this event, I bet, a lot more of that kind of thing. Samsung and Huawei and one other company announced these folding screen phones, and then there have been delays, and so essentially these things have been put off for months and months and months. I mean, maybe this is the right climate for this.
Yeah, maybe.
Google has spent the summer acknowledging rumors about their upcoming line of phones, which I mean has to have a material impact on sales of their existing devices.
Right.
Not that there are any, but whatever. But I mean, I mean, Microsoft, look, we've talked about this. There are several, almost all Surface devices need to be updated. And that's honestly been the case a lot of years. So some number of them will absolutely be updated. But what would put this event over the top? What would make this event more noteworthy, especially given that it's happening literally right at the beginning of October, right after 19H2 happens, and we'll be talking about the next version of Windows And oh my God, isn't that a huge, important release? And haven't we not seen anything huge and important in 20H1 yet?
Right. True.
Maybe this is the right time.
Could be. Plus,
I'm in full speculation.
OEMs need the shell that's codenamed Santorini, which is part of Windows Lite, we believe, also. Like if you're making a foldable device, whether it's like a 2-screen dual hinge thing like Centaurus or a foldable thing, you need this new shell from Microsoft that builds on top of Windows Core OS, and they haven't announced it yet publicly.
By the way, I mean, what if this is a Microsoft event or hardware event, like you called it, that isn't just Microsoft?
Except the hashtag's Microsoft event. Yeah.
But it is a Microsoft event, but they would, as part of the rollout to the next version of Windows 10, they might have partners with them. That's not unheard of.
Yeah, true. So we're just guessing on all this.
Yeah, we're literally just guessing.
Good job, though. I mean, you guys, if ever the Kremlin has a parade.
The Kremlinologist.
You're hired.
I'm going to get a business card that says that.
Kremlinologist.
Actually, I'll just call it Redmondologist.
Oh, Redmondologist is great.
Nice. That is good.
Oh, I really like that.
Now that the Americans is off the air, Mary Jo and I could star in the Redmondologists. It's coming to ABC on Tuesday nights.
Tuesday nights on ABC.
But let's say some of the things we have heard that we do think could happen at this. So we've just been throwing things out there. So I've heard pretty solidly, and I'm not the only one hearing this, that we're going to see an ARM-based Surface at this thing.
All right, so that's good because I will then not buy the Samsung device that's coming out next month.
By the way, regarding that, it's definitely smart to wait because, like I said, IFA is coming and there's going to be more of those. It's going to be interesting to compare all of these things.
Yeah.
Given that you believe this is happening, what is the most likely version of Surface to have this chipset, or is it a brand new device?
Brand new device. Really? New line.
Not a Go.
That's what I hear.
Not the Go.
I hear not the Go, not Surface Pro, because what I heard from a couple contacts is they're going to start differentiating between ARM and Intel based. So ARM-based devices are going to be the always connected with built-in LTE, and the Intel are going to not be that. So I don't think we'll see any more LTE infused Surface Pro.
It's interesting because there is speculation that Apple will do something very similar, that they'll continue to do, I think it was Jean-Louis Gasset who wrote, you're going to have to use Intel for heavy hardware, for really,
it's the workstation thing.
The workstation thing.
For those professional videographers and
they already have that distinction, by the way, between a PC and a workstation.
Yeah.
And by the way, it was a Xeon, but
not so subtly, Apple has expanded its use of the word "pro" in its products.
Isn't
in
that
recent
interesting?
years, right? So,
they're predicted to do so with
I think
the
it is.
iPhone.
I mean, there's an iMac Pro.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe in the future there'll be an A series based iMac that will just be the lower end version.
Yeah.
Etc. And obviously the laptops as well.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
I know. I think it's going to have a Qualcomm HCX, maybe a customized version of it, but I think it's definitely going to be something positioned somewhat differently from the Surface Pro.
Do you mind? I'm curious what both of you guys think about this, because this is something that the impetus for me writing that Programming Windows series was this notion that UWP is dead. And what does that mean? What does it mean? And a lot of people have said, well, we go back to Win32. Win32 is a relic from the mid-1990s. You don't write to something that low level if you're creating a new app today. You do something on top of it. And that's why things like WinForms and WPF have come back from the dead, basically. But the question is, what's next? What's the plan for the future, if there is one, right? People have speculated that it might be PWA, for example. But the reason I bring this up now is when you talk about Qualcomm, there will never be 100% compatibility with the software of the past. You can't run 64-bit desktop applications. That's most desktop applications these days. So how do you, what's the platform? In other words, it's kind of the same question we would have asked about Windows RT back in the day. It's the question we would have asked about S mode, where at that time the answer was UWP. But what's the platform for this thing? What's the, with the central, I realize it will run some of the stuff. right? And the store exists, and there are apps there, and it will run those things. But what's the thing you're selling it on to consumers? Like, what's the platform?
The value prop. I think it's always connected, right? So first line workers, anybody who always needs to have LTE available constantly.
Yeah, but what are they? But I mean, no, I understand.
What are they
that.
running? Apps in the store.
What are they running?
Apps in the store, right? So PWAs, the Win32 apps that have been. What do they call that when they process it so it works on Windows on ARM?
Tenderized.
Yeah. I don't know what they call it. So in other words, well, there are 32-bit desktop apps will run. They run in emulation, right?
Have they said 64 will never run or just not yet?
No, they will
never. Wow. Yeah. Okay. That's not a good device.
That's what they've said. Now, I mean, could that I've never quite understood why, but that's what they've said.
Yeah.